Hello again, and welcome back to another episode of Practice with Me. This is Region 20 for the TMEA Concert Orchestra-Viola auditions. Okay, this is going to be on the third excerpt. This is Avatar, and in this episode, we're going to be breaking down this excerpt into 3 different sections. Okay, but before we get into that, you know what to do. You need to listen to it first, okay? Now, tune. Okay, make sure you tune before you practice. All right, now we're ready for the first section of Avatar. This is gonna be from the beginning of the excerpt at measure 21, and we're gonna go to measure 29. So 21 through 28. We're gonna stop at 29. That's our first section. We have this beautiful lyrical melody, okay? Lots of long connected bows, right? We are in the key of E minor, okay, which shares the key signature of G major. So we have 1 sharp, okay? So if you would like to go warm up with your finger patterns on the D and the A strings, that would be helpful. I'll put them below. You're gonna do 2 and 3 touching finger pattern on the D string and low 2 finger pattern on the A string, okay? But let's go through and let's play this really slow, okay? So I'm gonna put my metronome on, and it's gonna be beating the 8th note, okay? This is actually half tempo, okay? Let's just play it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Good. So with this first section, you really need to be focusing on how you're distributing your bow, or how much bow are you using on every single note. Make sure that for the 8th notes, you're using little bows. So the first measure, I would do 1, 2, right? Otherwise, you're gonna run out of bow if you use too much bow on your 8th notes, okay? So just go through this first section nice and slow. It's not too difficult. I think for this one, you need to practice connecting your bows and just making sure that you're playing in tune with the right finger patterns, right? F sharp on the D string and low 2 on the A string, all right? Good. So let's go ahead and play it one more time, that beginning section, and let's do it a little bit faster now. That noise. Let's try it again. Now this is the quarter note again, okay? So try to think about how you're going to use your bow for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, here we go. Go on, okay? Good. Let's try it faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. Nice. Should we try it at 122? Yeah, let's do it. Remember, don't use too much bow, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. Very nice. All right. Okay, let's move on now to the second section. Okay, this is where we just have measure 29 through measure 36 is the second section, if I didn't mention that already, where we just have our really soft piano dynamic eighth notes, okay? And for these, we're gonna practice them nice and slow. Let's try this. Okay, so I'm gonna put my metronome on my eighth note. Okay, and for this, let's try to play the notes. Let's follow along with the notes and keep the bow around the middle or the balance point. And because there's dots over the notes, remember that means you're gonna stop your bow in between the notes, okay? Right? And while you're doing this, also check in and make sure that your bow isn't going over the fingerboard, because if it does, it's not going to sound very pretty. So keep it closer to the bridge. Okay, let's try this. Remember, this is the eighth note. Every sound you hear is going to be a note that you play. We're going to try to play 29. 1, 2. Don't forget, there's a crescendo in the last two measures. So every single one of those notes, you need to be using more and more bow. All right, let's try this now a little bit faster. Let's try it at 80. And now my metronome is going to be playing quarter notes. Keep the bow nice and compact. Just a little bit of bow. This is measure 29. 1, 2, 1, 2. How did you do? All right, shall we try it a little faster? Let's try this at 90 now. One and two and two. 1, 2, here we go. Faster. Here's 29 again. 1 and 2 and here we go. Excellent. Let's do 120. Bum, 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 bum. 1 and 1. 1, 2, here we now let's move on to section 3. And this is going to be 37 to the end of the excerpt. And for this, I want to talk a little bit about your bow and about your fingers on the bow. Making sure that your fingers are nice and flexible, right? We don't want them so flexible that they're not holding the bow, right? They still need to be firm, but they need to be able to move, okay? They're like shock absorbers. They're springs on your bow stick, okay? So the first thing I would like for you to do is test your fingers. See how relaxed they are. So set your bow up on the D string, and we're just gonna make our bow hold. And I'm sure you've got your bow hold checklist with your orchestra teacher, but for me, it's checking in on the thumb, making sure that thumb is underneath. So tap, tap, tap your thumb on the stick to make sure that it's not squeezing, right? Then we have our 2 fingers that are hugging around the stick. They're not on top of the stick, they're hugging around, and your middle finger should be across from your thumb, okay? Your index finger is just hanging out here, and tap, tap, tap. We don't want index finger way up here. We do not want index finger grabbing around, okay? Just resting on top. Tap, 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 tap. And pinky, of course, should be curved on the top of the stick. Do you see how I have a nice, round, flexible hand? Good. Now, the second thing I would like for you to do is to support your bow with your left hand here. And we're just gonna wave our fingers up and down like this. Boom, 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 boom. Notice how I'm bending at my wrist and my fingers are extending, right? I'm not doing this, right? I'm not moving only from my wrist. It's my fingers are extending and pulling up. Good. Let's try it now vertical. Can you hold your bow vertically? And let's see if we can do the same thing. If you need to set your viola down, it's okay, but I can hold mine and talk. So we're gonna hold our hand here, and we're just gonna move our fingers up and down, up and down. So pick it up. Your hand is nice and rounded. All of your fingers should be curved inward, right? And then we throw it away. So we straighten out our fingers. Okay? Pick it up, throw it away. Pick it up, throw it away. And as you do this, check in on your bow hold a little bit. Tap your pinky, make sure that it's not squeezing. We don't want anything squeezing. Good. You can challenge yourself if you feel comfortable. Put your hand underneath and see if you can make your bow move to touch your hand. And then come back up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And every time I come up, my hand is rounded again. Okay, it's really important that your fingers come up rounded again, and then you throw it away. Round it again, throw it away. All right, so now that we've warmed up our fingers a little bit, let's look at 37. And we're gonna play this first as a little exercise. It's gonna be very similar to the notes that are already there, and I'll put it down below again so you can follow along. We're gonna play everything as 8th notes, okay? And in measure 37, where you see in the 3rd beat where there's 2 16th notes, we're only gonna play the B, okay? And in measure 39, where you see in beat 3, the 2 16th notes, we're only gonna play the C, okay? So it'll sound like this. I'll play it for you once, and then I want you to join me. So we're gonna play. You see how I skipped the 16th notes, and I just played everything as 8th notes, okay? Let's try that. Bow's at the middle, and remember, we're half staccato dots, so we are going to be stopping the bow in between each one, okay? Bum, 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 1, and go. Let's do it again. 1 and 2 and here we go. Excellent. Let's try the same thing a little faster now. Nice. Okay, now let's see if we can add back the 16th note, okay? So it's gonna look as written, nice and slow. Bum, 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 ba, da, da, bum. 1, 2, 1, 2, go. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Excellent. Let's try it now as written a little faster. Good. Let's try it faster. Now we're at 80. Bum, 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 ba, da, da, bum. 1, 2, 3, and go. Excellent. Let's try it faster. One, two, here we go. Very nice. So you can keep working up this section just like that. Practice it without the 16th notes first to get your bow really feeling what it needs to do. And then when you add the 16th notes back in, you just are plopping your fingers down. So also practice, if you want, just left hand, bum, 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 bum. Just practice it with your left hand too. That's helpful. Nice and slow first, always slow first. Okay, I think we're ready now for our slow run through and our fast run through. I'm gonna put my metronome on 80 for our slow run through, and then I'll do it at tempo. One, two, here we go. And all right, let's try it now at 120. And if you need more time before you make this big jump to 120, go back on your own and work it up. All right, and that is Avatar, okay? Keep working at it little by little. Do each section, combine each section, work slowly, and then speed it up, okay? Always remember, separate your right from your left hands if you're having issues with something, okay? Practice open strings, practice just left hand alone, and then try putting it back together, okay? Okay, happy practicing.